What it is, y'all? It's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. Now, today we are going to talk about Iris. A little something about free-to-play Iris, how to acquire a decent amount of it, and ways to save it, and basically if you're early game, because we have a lot of EU players that are probably early game, early adopters, tactics you can use to have farmable Iris for later in the game. Some of this is going to be extremely, extremely common sense. I'm aware of that. But sometimes people got to hear it for it to make sense. So we're going to talk about this today. And once again, if some of this is common sense, that is actually factual. But let's get down to it. And first things first, make sure that you're doing your war game. I know I'm a little late on my war game. And yes, my Haruhime is set to the wrong thing. But you need to make sure that you're doing all of your war game as often as you can. Now, again, I'm slacking a little bit this week and last week because we've had friends and family in town and we've been very, very busy people. But I digress. And no, this is not my team's final form. This is just kind of a grind team to get me through it fairly quickly. And test out some theories I've got. So we're now at Battle Princess 3. So, basically by tomorrow, I will easily be into the king range. And before you start saying, oh, it's a whale team, blah, 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 blah. That does not look like a whale team to you, does it? I promise you it is absolutely not a whale team. 100%. You can take one look at that and probably determine that. Almost every unit on this was acquired free to play. I think I spent a little bit to get the 2 Haruhimes, but that's about it. And that wasn't even the MLB. That was like one bond. So I am not a whale by a long shot. Just about everything I do in this game is free to play. But if you're not familiar with the rewards, and you probably should be, if you're not familiar with how the reward system works, you can reasonably say King 3 is a good target. King 1 if you've been playing the game for a little bit of time. Though King 1 I'm hearing is getting harder. So, but let's say reasonably, you hit King 1. 700 Iris every 2 weeks, give or take. Then you come over, and you say, okay, cool. Well, on off weeks, we've got Record Buster. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and look at the rank rewards for Record Buster. And let's say you get, top 5,000. That's 500 Iris. Top 1,000 is 600 Iris. So if you can do King 1, you could probably do top 1,000. That's 1,300 Iris every 2 weeks. In a month's time, you have basically 3,000 Iris, the equivalent thereof. Now, this does not include things like login bonuses. Right now, we're getting tons of Iris from login bonuses. You want to make sure you're logging in every single day and getting your login bonuses. I think I've got 2 days worth of login bonuses chilling here. So, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff in there. So, make sure you're logging in every single day and getting your login bonuses, okay? The other thing that you really need to pay attention to are all of your daily stuff, okay? So, daily participate in 5 war games. I have been doing that, but I think I've been forgetting my Iris, unfortunately. So, I have been kind of screwing myself out of Iris. So, let's go ahead and grab that real quick. You want to pay close attention to all of your daily events, because that is going to be a decent amount of Iris. So on top of, obviously leveling up in war games, you're getting Iris in here for ranking up in war games. Every rank you go up, you get 10 Iris. You play 5 a day, you get 10 Iris. Don't spend Iris in war game. That's the one thing I will tell you. If you're free to play, do not spend Iris in war game. Absolutely never spend Iris in war game. It is a horrible return on investment, unless the only exception to that is if you're really late game, you've got a great King 1 team, and let's say you're Battle Princess, drop 100 Iris to get to King 2 or King 1. That I get, because you're getting, I say 100 Iris. Drop a handful of Iris to get 100 Iris. That is about the only time that is actually worthwhile. Other than that, no, if you're spending 100 Iris and you're only getting back 100 Iris, bad return on investment. If you're spending 20 Iris and getting back 100 or 150 Iris, great return on investment. So make damn certain you're doing your war game and you're coming in here to claim your rewards, because as you can see, I apparently haven't. So I probably screwed myself completely out of like 50 iris because I've not been doing it. Bad example of how to do it. Good example of why you need to do it. So I probably, after today, would be chilling at 2200 iris. It's 100 iris. It adds up fast. It really does add up fast. Because remember, not only is the iris in here you want to pay attention to, and you want to come in and collect, which you could clearly tell I haven't been. Look at that. Look at all this iris I've got. Look at all this iris I've got. Yeah, no, I probably would have been at 2300 iris. There's easily 100 iris that I've kind of... One way or another, once again, friends and family are a very, very big distraction this time of year, so sometimes I don't get to finish my dailies. Okay? Then we go over here to the daily content, and in the daily content, guys, if you do everything, which takes about 5-10 minutes, if you do everything, you get 10 iris a day. 10 days, that's 100 iris. Like, a little less than a week. And then if you're doing your stuff over here, you see how quickly that accrues. So I think we got 100 iris, 110 iris, just chilling, sitting here right now. There is a lot of iris in this game up for grabs. Don't sleep on it. I know, once again, bad example, I did a little bit, but, you know, as I said before, friends and family, blah, 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 blah. So... make sure you're taking advantage of that. Now, the other thing that I don't think is nearly as obvious to some people are the interacts. Okay? Maybe some people know about this, maybe some people don't. But in here, there's little stories that you can go through for every character. As you level up CP, you're going to get more of these quests and more of these stories. And as you get outfits, you get 5 iris per outfit. So there's a really good opportunity in here to get a decent amount of iris. If you never use the interact, or you store your interacts for like a rainy day, you're like, oh my god, the collab is coming up, I really need some iris. Go in there, farm, oh, that's the wrong one. Farm up interact, okay? And get a lot of that. It's a ton of iris just chilling there if you haven't been using it. As you can see, I've got a few that haven't been used. That's because I really don't want to go in there. Well, let's just see if we can look at one real quick. Hestia's got a outfit. Okay. She'll give us a little story with her outfit, but with a new outfit, she's going to get 5 iris. Pretty straightforward stuff. Boom. Boom. Come on. Alright, so it's really not that, and of course this is just where you dress them. It's, again, stuff that adds up pretty quickly if you're doing any level of summons. It's another reason that there's actually a little bit of a benefit when these banners come up and you got new units, and especially time-limited units. You do want to summon on time-limited units because there are genuine benefits to doing that, okay? And we'll talk about when new characters drop. We'll talk about that in a moment. So, interacts got a little bit. But if we go back to Guild and we go to the dispatch quest, you want to be doing your daily dispatch quests. You really do. And I recommend starting here at the bottom because these are the expensive ones. Okay? And when you do dispatch quests, we've talked about this before, but just make sure you have at least one of these units in there somewhere. If you use recommended party, it'll usually fill it properly. And make sure your advice status, your skill points, and your absence penalty is at 0, and your quest success rate is 100%. You want 100% success rate. That is going to give you a great success. And great success is going to give you a little bit of iris. I maybe get 5 iris a day out of dispatch quests, or the random, like 10 to 20 iris. I think we even got 100 iris in some of them. Now, there are special boards down here. I've been really, really, really bad at completing these because there are special events for those. But it says Anonymous Millionaire. That's probably going to give you a ton of either iris or Valis. So we'll cover those in their own separate video, which I've been threatening to do for 3 months now and haven't done. But I digress. We're going to do it. So do your dispatch quests, guys. Get your iris. And it really, don't retreat. It really doesn't hurt you in any way, aside from the fact it is a good amount of stamina. But if you've been in the game for more than a couple months, you should have enough potato snacks saved up to do these, or do these in the morning and then play the game in the evening or something like that. but definitely do your dispatch quests. Okay? If you're starting to add this up, you're starting to see where as you do stuff every single day, you could accrue 50 to 100 iris a day if you're really being attentive. And you can kind of tell by my iris, I have not been. But when we get back into it, you're going to accrue iris I will accrue iris very, very, very quickly. Okay? All right, load you. Come on. We're making a video here. Let's move on. Oof. Okay? Now, there are a couple other ways to accrue iris extremely quickly, but I gotta wait for this to finish before I can go do that. So, snappy here. Alright? I'll go to those last two after the video. Now, you guys probably already know about CP levels, okay? Here's your CP levels. Mine are very low. I'm really bad at upgrading them. And if we go down here at the bottom, a lot of the units that I don't use all the time just have really low CP levels that I've been working on. The reason that that's the case is because if it's a unit that I just absolutely do not use, then I can keep them at the bottom and very cheaply, very quickly upgrade these units. Like, I never use her assist. If I go ahead and offer her a present, which I'm not going to at the moment because she needs the she needs the souvenir. I can actually go to the it's the thing we do at the beginning of every month. We go to the shop, we go to the Serios and Dupe exchange, and I don't have that much right now, but I can go in here, grab the souvenirs, grab a few of those, and bada bing, bada boom, go feed her some CP. I've got 100. I can grab 20, 21 of these bad boys and go feed her up, but I'm really not going to at the moment. I'm going to save that. Well, we're going to get more at the beginning of the month, and I'm going to do a little grinding out here in the next couple of days to make that happen. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it, because I try to expend as many of these as I can before the end of the month. So there's 21 of them. Boom, boom, character list. And if I go down here to the bottom, snag her, offer present, and there's the souvenir. It's going to give her 200 iris, or 200 CP. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, let's see how much iris we get out of this, because she's now level 15. Okay? 5, 10, 15. 15 iris. Just for that little bit right there. 15 iris just for those few seconds of, I say grind, but yeah, a few seconds of effort. All right? Now, how do you get those items? Well, simply put, when you go down to the gachas, when you get your 2-star tickets, okay? So I've got a 4-star ticket to blow. Say, hey, look at that. So when you get them, we'll blow all these on stream, but when you get all these tickets, it's a good opportunity to really accrue a decent amount of Serios. Because with your 2-star, 3-star bonds that you're not going to use, you sell those at the beginning of the month. Watch out for the beginning of the month video, and we'll talk about that. So you could sell all those, and you can actually then go and get a decent amount of stuff. Oh, look, I got a CP item. Perfectly. That's actually what I want. More CP items. Not mad about that. CP is one of the biggest ways to quickly accrue a decent amount of iris. And that brings me to something that's very unique to this particular moment in the game. Okay? If we go into event and we go into the winter revelry and we go down here to gacha, okay? The reason that I've been hoarding so much stamina is because I am after these presents. I am hard after these presents. These presents are going to be very, very crucial to increasing CP down the road. So you should be doing all of these every single day. Okay? Now, this is only going to be around for a limited time. This runs out tomorrow. Tomorrow! So as you can see, today's going to be a huge grind. And you guys were all giving me crap for early in the game early when this dropped, for grinding this out hard. But you've got to understand, as a family man, these last couple weeks of the year are extremely busy. So, yes, I was seriously after these units, but you got to be aware of this. So if you're watching this today or tomorrow, and this event is still live, make damn sure you're going after these CP items because you are absolutely going to want to grind as many of these out as humanly possible. Now, it is a very low chance of acquisition. I understand that. But this is not the only time we get these CP items. CP items comes up very, very, very often. And frankly, if I am frank about this, finish him up, girl. God, this team is slow. All right. Boom. Yes, there are better teams out there for this. This is just a grind team that I've got. Well, not a grind team. I'm sorry. Team that I was using for another event. I've got a faster team than this. Come on, girl. Love these load times. Absolutely love them. There we go. If we go back into gacha, we got a few more that we can spend. So let's go ahead and if we can do another draw 100 here. You know what? I'm not going to make you suffer through these load times. Apparently, my network's in a bad mood. So that's some of the many, 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 many ways to quickly accrue a ton of Iris in this game. Okay? Definitely start thinking about this. And I'm sure there's a couple things I probably missed. You know what I did miss? One of the biggest things I missed. If you're new in the game, story events. If I go into Belle's story, you'll notice that these top events, I basically are just to the point of which getting the next one unlocked. I'm leaving a lot of these farmable. And if I go into especially Leafia's story, there's a lot of hers that's still farmable. Eyes, if I go down here, a lot of this still very, very, very farmable. Okay? Ryu, not so much. But when you go in here and you do these things, bear in mind, you want to accrue some Iris early game, but you don't want to leave a little bit of that unfarmed. Once your game is EOL, you don't have a quick basis in which to farm Iris aside from CP and all that stuff. That's not nearly as fast. So when you're thinking about when these new levels drop and things like that, beat the lowest level mode and move on to the next one and just unlock them. Because when it comes to needing a quick way to farm Iris, you could go in there and you could just jam out Iris left and right. I know that seems extremely common sense, but you'd be surprised how many people get in there, get in the grind, and then just, oh my god, I've got 3,000 Iris. Oh, that's awesome. What are you going to do a year and a half down the road when all you've got to farm Iris is CP level and Record Buster War Games and all that stuff? I have a goal to have at least 8,000 Iris before the collab starts. We have, I'm going to say roughly a little less than a month. It's about 3-4 weeks. I'm going to say probably about 4 weeks till the collab actually goes live. We don't know for certain. It's just a guesstimate. But in 4 weeks, you can see how quickly you can accrue a crazy, crazy amount of Iris. So do your Record Buster, do your War Games. Leave some stuff farmable. If you've got farmable stuff, farm up a little bit of it, but don't, exhaust it. Just leave a little bit still left on the table. That's very, very, very important to all of this. If I did miss something, let me know in the comments section down below. But I know a lot of this is very common sense, but sometimes until you really see how quickly you can accrue a ton of Iris, it really just doesn't. Some people just have to see it to kind of grasp it. So for me, the big thing today is going to be expending a ton of stamina, getting these CP items. Because those CP items, there's CP items already in here, but the Winter Revelry CP item is worth 1,000 CP. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. The other thing I do want to say, and I almost forgot about this, Star Bonds and Prism Bonds. Now, Star Bonds, yes. Prism Bonds, maybe not so much. You probably want to use those when they drop. They don't expire by any stretch, but typically by the time you get a Prism Bond, you kind of know what you want to do with it. Star Bonds. Gnome tickets very specifically. I'm chilling on a ton of Gnome tickets. A ton of Gnome tickets. And the reason for this is because I eventually am going to want a few of these. So as life happens, and as the game happens and all that, when we get the collab, there's a likelihood, as has happened in a few of the banners recently, where I may not necessarily pull the unit I want. That's cool. Or I pull one. Or let me put it this way. If you don't pull a unit, you definitely want to try to whale it out or do something. But If you pull the unit, but you don't pull enough of them, you have the opportunity here to add bonds to them. You obviously can't use this to unlock a unit, but if you have the unit and you only got 1 or 2 bonds, and you've exhausted all of the guaranteed summons, chasing unguaranteed summons is not a very wise way to do it. But if you leave these available, like if I have an adventurer and I need to MLB them right now, it's a done deal. I can only pull 1, and I can MLB an adventurer, no sweat. So along with accruing Iris, this is kind of a little backup plan, just in case I don't pull what I want. And I've got a little bank account here set aside to make whatever I need happen. So, once again, I'm sure there's something I'm missing, but that's a lot of information. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Yes, I could have bought 4-star tickets. I don't think that's a wise use of your gnome tickets. Star bonds are 100% where they're at. And again, I'm hedging my bets. I fully believe there's going to be one unit that maybe I only pull 1 of, or maybe I only pull 2 of, and that I really need to have MLB'd. I have my ability now. Hopefully it's not an adventurer. That's a little harder case, which is once again why with the Adrione units, if they're not on MLB'd, I have my backup plan. I can always spend these later when I need them. So that's the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Hopefully you're going to go out there today. You're going to start rocking those CP items, accrue all that stuff up. I've got a lot of work ahead of me today in this game, so follow my Birdman, hit me up on Booker. I'll be back at you guys with more Danmachi here very soon.